Oh hey, I was just catching a quick afternoon nap with my Manta sleep mask and dreaming up my next DIY project, which we'll be getting into in just a minute. I have to say that I am loving my sleep mask. I've been using it for the past several days and it's great. I noticed for a while that I tend to get tired around 2:30 every day, and it's always been hard for me to take naps, especially in the middle of the day. I realize it's the light that's in the room that's preventing me from winding down. But ever since I got my Manta sleep mask, I've been just fine because this sleep mask blocks out all the light, and now resting in the middle of the day is no problem at all. It has a nice Velcro clasp in the back, fits nice and snugly around the face. It's adjustable, has deep eye pockets here. Manta's goal is to enable better lives through better sleep and regular naps. Part of Manta Sleep's mission is taking a stand against hustle culture with their pro-nap movement. They believe that our bodies are naturally wired for naps, and I tend to agree. They feel it's impossible to unlock your full potential if you're not getting an afternoon nap every day. Naps give you energy, focus, strength, and clarity. And if you click the link in the description box, it will bring you to Manta Sleep's website, where you'll find an array of sleep masks to choose from. If you use my discount code SweetLife10, you'll get 10% off your order. They have the Pro Mask, which has side sleep comfort cups, and it has advanced materials for ventilation and breathability. The Silk Mask has silk that prevents wrinkles and refreshes skin cells and is naturally hypoallergenic. The Sleep Mask is 100% blackout for deeper sleep. It's adjustable and there's no pressure on the eyes or the lashes. And the Cool Mask cools evenly and soothes eyes and sinuses. And there are several other masks like the Steam Mask, the Weighted Mask, and the Aroma Mask. You can check those out for more details. So remember to use the Sweet Life 10 discount code, and just give me 5 more minutes and we'll get right into the DIY. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am fully refreshed after my afternoon nap. So we're going to jump right into this DIY, which is a home decor DIY. I saw this item online and I wanted to copy it. My plan was originally, I think, to make all 3 of these little figures, but I quickly realized that wasn't going to be a good idea. So I decided, let's just start with 1 and see where it goes. And after I completed the 1, I'm just going to leave it alone. So I'm not going to make the other 2. But if you want to see how I made this little figurine, then I hope you keep watching. So as I mentioned, I'll be making one of these little figures, and it's going to be this one right in the middle. I'm starting here using this Dollar Tree clay. I'm opening that up, and then I did want to share how I made this face here that's still holding strong with the same Dollar Tree clay, so I have evidence that this clay is solid and it lasts. So I'm starting out using the Dollar Tree clay, and I have to say that this project goes in a whole nother direction that I did not intend for, but I don't know if I thought it all the way through when I decided to actually even make this thing. I was trying to form cheap Dollar Tree clay and make it hold its shape and have harsh corners and edges, and thinking that it was going to hold, and this was by no means the clay that was going to do that. So I had to come up with some kind of form to put the clay on. So that's where the next thing comes in. I found a wire hanger in the house somewhere. Now, we don't use wire hangers. Somehow I found this thing laying in the basement, and I decided it's going to work perfectly for this project to create the form that I need to build on. And since the figure that I'm making is a person that has shoulders, so I'm just moving it around now to making little adjustments to make sure that the shoulders are even. And then I'm also going to bend the hanger so that it forms the shape of the arms the way it's supposed to. And then I have this wire cutter here, which is almost like a little wrench, and I'm using that to move the hanger pieces around, as well as snip off the parts that I don't need. So here I have the start of a frame of the upper portion of the body. This is one of the arms with the hand, and then I'm just going to cut this part off. This is where the neck is going to be, and just cutting through that hanger really good and right here, the pieces just come apart. And of course, they are now in two separate pieces, so I have to connect them back together, and I'm going to use some yarn to do that. And here I'm wrapping the yarn around those two pieces of the hanger, and then I'm just going to keep wrapping and then tie them together to hold them strong. And then I did go back and add a little bit of glue because I felt they were starting to slip a little bit, but it did secure in the end. So now that I have one of the arms in place and I have the neck connected, I'm just working on that other arm to get that one set. And now that I had the torso, the upper body all set, I was starting to work on the legs. So I got a piece of the hanger and I started to move it around to see what I could do. But this was definitely not going to work. I needed something long for the legs. And I'm like, well, another wire hanger would be good. And would you believe I found another wire hanger, the only other one in the entire house. It was meant to be. So I just figured what I could do with this one, and I just got to work. I started bending it, and here I'm just making the shape of the legs. So I'll let you see how that comes together. And already I'm seeing how these curves in the hanger are perfect for the knees. So the next thing I did was bend it where I thought the feet would be, and then I cut off the excess with the wire cutter. And after that, I thought I had a nice shape for the legs and the lower body. I also used the wire cutter to reform the feet so that I can adjust them to lean in the direction that I wanted. And then I also cut off part of the excess of the hanger that was hanging off of the hand on the upper body part. And now here I am starting back with the clay, thinking that this mold is going to be just fine. So I'm going to test it out on the upper body. I'm taking the clay and I'm going to try to form it over the shoulders. And this does not work at all. The wire is just too thin and it's basically ripping through the clay. The clay is not sitting on it. It's not taking shape on it. It's just going right through. So I realized that I need to build a stronger structure on the underneath part and thicken the wire. So I had in my head what I was going to do, but I wanted to make sure now that I had a plan that I want to just build that whole frame up nicely. So I'm just going to start working on the legs to finalize how they're going to be set. I saw this middle part with that little roll over and I thought that would be a little too thick. So I ended up cutting that off. And when I did that, I realized that I now had to connect those two pieces back together. So I did that with an extra piece of the hanger. So the next big step was to build up the frame. So I'm using paper towel and painter's tape to do that. And I'm rolling the paper towel really tight and I'm wrapping it around the wire, and then I'm going to put the tape over that. I was going close to the edge of the shot in a lot of these parts, but I was trying to get this right. So I just continued with this, and it's a repetitive process, so I'm not going to show the entire thing, but I continued to do this all the way around the whole frame. This went by really quick. It took me probably less than 5 minutes to even do this one arm. I finished up the second arm and then I moved on to the legs. I had to figure a way to hold these together, so I got some duct tape and that's all I used to do that. So I'm just wrapping that around until it forms the shape that I need. And then I use the same paper towel and painter's tape method to thicken the legs just the way I did with the upper body portion. And then when I got to the thigh area, I was folding the paper towel and I realized I needed it to be a little thicker. And I looked up and saw this little puff of cotton that must have come out of one of my children's stuffed animals. So I decided to use that on the thighs. And now I'm just building up the bottom half of the body area, closing in the space and just thickening everything to make it solid. Just covering over the paper towel with the painter's tape to make everything nice and full. And now I'm going to work on the third portion of the body, which is the head structure. And I'm using this plant foam to make the head shape. And I'm going to cut that with a little knife. I'm just adding a little more painter's tape to this top portion here to add a little bit of thickness for the neck part. And now finally it's time to bring the clay back in. The frame has been made solid for the clay to be laid on top, so I'm just going to do that now and you'll see how this all comes together. I made two different sizes for the head because this one I made first and it looked too big. So I made this one as an alternate. I think I'm going to be using this one. Here are the legs. It's mainly dry, but it's very cracked and crumbly. So I'm going to be using this glue to fill in some of the cracks. And here is the upper portion. So I'm just going to try to use the glue now on all the pieces. So the glue is dried on everything, but I'm not happy that it filled in all the creases. I thought the glue would settle in and dry to fill the creases in. So to make up for that, I'm going to use this spackle. Just rub this all over each piece and let it dry, and then we can proceed. And then once everything dries, I'm hoping that I'll be able to sand it down to get everything smooth. And now I'm going to use this Power Grab Loctite glue to glue the hand of the little figure to the face. And then I'm tying a small piece of yarn all around that until it dries. Now I'm going to glue these pieces together. So I had to thicken up this little base here to make it level, and it's not quite dry yet, but I'm going to move on. I've been using this nail file. I'm just going to smooth out a few more areas maybe. It could probably use more of a sanding, but I'm going to stop because sometimes sanding it down just has caused even more problems. So I'm going to leave it as is, and I'm going to glue the pieces. So I did connect the head to the body earlier, and then I put some more spackling around the neck part, and then I smoothed that down. The hand is now glued to the face there. So the last thing is just to glue this to this. Just the two elbows and then right under the hand. Now I'm going to cover it with this, and then the next step will be to paint it with some gold spray paint. I've never used this on spackle before, but I'm hoping that this seals it up nicely.